And we do this live stream every single weekday. So if you are new here, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Let's take a look at what's going on in the markets right now. So Bitcoin is currently down another 2.37% within the last 24 hours to $29,140. And we can see here as well, let me check everything's running smoothly first of all. Ethereum is down 1.37% to $1,850. So we are seeing some more downwards movement for the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum in the charts right now. But is that going to hold, or are we going to see a nice bounce to the upside? Well, we will be discussing that at the end of today's stream in the Bitcoin analysis that we will be doing after we have finished the cryptocurrency news today. So make sure to stay tuned until the very end. And as I said, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. Let's see what's in store for the cryptocurrency news first of all. Let's talk about these CBDCs. Interesting topic here today. So we have seen a bit of a divide in Congress in terms of CBDCs. So let's talk about this first. First of all, we have this article, Federal Reserve's CBDC efforts likened to financial death start by US lawmaker. So what we are seeing here is the Federal Reserve have actually listed CBDC related job positions. Now this has caused a huge divide here with a lot of Congress not wanting to have any CBDCs and actually wanting to criminalize, you can see here, any effort to design, build, develop, test, or establish a CBDC. So this has caused a divide. Some people are for CBDCs and some people are against. Now, what are the pros and cons of CBDCs? Right. A CBDC is a central bank digital currency. So it's a digital currency controlled by central banks, unlike cryptocurrencies, which are decentralized and don't have a central authority. So what we have is, if a central bank digital currency is launched, there is the possibility that our funds could be restricted in certain ways. They could put restrictions on how we spend our money. And a lot of people are actually digital currency, and some still in the works trying to resolve some issues there. But there are concerns around CBDCs, and there are some people that are for CBDCs, and there are some people that are strongly against CBDCs. It looks like the connection's cutting in and out. Let me know if there are any problems here. It looks like we're back in action here, but let me know if there are any problems. So what we have is some people are concerned around the way the CBDCs will run because they are worried there may be restrictions on the way we can spend our money. Alternatively, some people are for CBDCs, faster transaction times, cross-border payments, and all the rest of it. There could be some benefits. In my opinion, CBDCs will never, ever compete against Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So with that, we have a divide in Congress right now of what's actually going to happen here. And it has been being likened to a financial death star by US lawmakers here. So it's causing a big divide, as I've said. Let's move on to the next story and see what else is going on here. Before we do, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest crypto news. Here we have the US Federal Reserve officials warn against declaring an early victory on inflation. So some officials at the Fed and economists have not convinced that the ongoing battle against inflation has been won. So what we've seen so far in the US is inflation hit a high of 9.1% in June 2022. Now that was incredibly high. And since then, the Fed have been on a mission to reduce that inflation rate back down to 2%. Now we are pretty close to that. The US government have been doing incredibly well. The CPI came in at 3% year on year after a previous month at 4%. So we've seen a really big decline there, all the way down from 9.1% in June, as I've said. But we are still a long way to go from that 2% target. Now, the Fed have actually expected that we won't even reach this target by December next year, December 2024. And they are speculating that there's a long way to go here, and there are still more interest rate hikes to come. Now, what we see is to reduce inflation, we need to increase interest rates. We've seen that repeatedly over the last couple of months. And with that, it's caused a lot of pain for people it just becomes a lot harder for people in day-to-day life, but it has had a positive effect on inflation. And with that, we need to see what's coming next. We are seeing another interest rate announcement coming this week, tomorrow, I believe, at 5 p.m. UTC time, at 6 p.m. UTC time potentially. So with this, what is going to happen this week? How is this going to change? Now, we are obviously seeing warnings declaring an early victory on inflation is not a good idea, but we are seeing a positive reduction in inflation, and if inflation inflation is continuously declining at this rate, why increase it any further? We have seen the Fed say that they are expecting to have a couple more interest rate hikes this year. When that is going to be is not certain, but it is expected that we are going to see a 0.25% increase this week tomorrow when that announcement is created. So let's keep a close eye on that, because the interest rates and the interest rate hikes massively affect the price of Bitcoin and every other asset. The markets do not like high interest rates. So when interest rates increase, we usually see a negative impact on the markets. Now we have to remember, obviously, we have that high likelihood of there being a 25 basis point increase tomorrow. So will that already be priced in prior to that announcement? It is quite likely. But nevertheless, whatever happens tomorrow, even if it's exactly as expected, we will see some volatility. Every single time an interest rate announcement occurs, or even an inflation rate announcement occurs, we see volatility on the price of Bitcoin, and that 1 minute chart goes absolutely crazy over and over again. Now, if you have the courage to trade that, I am impressed. It is a very volatile market, and it just goes from one direction to the next. I would recommend, if you are looking to trade that, don't use high leverage. I mean, it's a highly risky time to be in the markets, but some people look at that as a as a profitable opportunity. Let's keep that in mind, but let's take a look at the next article. Let's move away from the US government and see what else is going on here. Before we do, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Let's see what is going on here. So SBF agrees to gag order and seeks same for all FTX witnesses and employees. So SBF's lawyer, Mark Cohen, denied the allegations brought by the Department of Justice against SBF, arguing that nothing about his client's actions was improper. So what has actually been accused of SBF this week is that, so let's find it in this article, that allegedly he attempted to interfere with fair trial by releasing the private writings of Caroline Ellison, the former CEO of FTX's sister trading firm Alameda Research, to a reporter from the New York Times. So SBF has been accused of interfering with fair trial, and as a response to that, they have actually accepted a gag order. So SBF's lawyer has claimed that SBF's act was a response to a request for comment on an article about Caroline Ellison that had been in the works for months and was about to be published. He insisted that his clients had shared the documents to give his side of the story on previously reported topics in the media. So the attorney argued that SBF did not violate his bail conditions or any rule governing his conduct, but was only exercising his right to respond to inquiries from the media. They have denied all of those allegations that have been, or accusations that have been put onto SBF this week, but they have still accepted this gag order where they will no longer discuss what's going on in court right now to the general public, because it may be interfering with fair trial, and that's not what they want to see. And SBF does not really want to be accused of that either. Now, SBF has obviously got a long way to go in terms of seeing the repercussions of his actions in the cryptocurrency market last year, but he is still meeting the headlines. I mean, it all went a bit quiet on SBF for a while, and then recently it's been weekly we talk about SBF and we talk about Do Kwon once again. They've come back into the main crypto media. Let's see what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news though. Before we do, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Let's see what's going on here in the chat. Randy says the stream is good now. Didn't get a notification this morning that your live stream was starting. I don't know what's going on with this today. YouTube, sometimes it loves us, sometimes it hates us. But if you could help with the algorithm, I would greatly appreciate that. Please make sure to like and subscribe and share the stream with your friends as well. Let's see what else is going on here. So Binance CZ plans to seek dismissal of the CFTC lawsuit. So Binance CEO previously said the Commodities Futures Trading Commission complaint is an incomplete recitation of facts. Crypto exchange Binance and its CEO CZ intend to submit a motion asking the court to dismiss the lawsuit by the CFTC, a court filing shows from Monday. So the commodity regulator sued Binance Holdings CZ, including the company's compliance officer, in March for allegedly offering unregistered derivative products to US residents, and the CFTC claimed the exchange violated multiple federal rules of the Commodity Exchange Act. So essentially, Binance have been accused of offering derivative products, which are unregistered, to US residents. They've obviously also been accused of finding loopholes to offer high-value clients in US services that should only be offered to non-US customers. So Binance as a company have multiple different affiliates. They have Binance.us, they have Binance.com, they have Binance UK, they have all of these different options, Binance Australia, and essentially Binance got accused of offering high value clients in the US access to Binance.com rather than limiting them to the services that are created for US customers. And the reason they have all of these different options and Binance.us and Binance.com and Binance.Australia is because they need to follow the different regulation in different regions. So when they're not following those rules and splitting their clients up correctly, that comes down to Binance, and that's one of Binance's problems there. And that's what they've been accused of here by the CFTC. Now we can see Binance and other defendants have until the 27th of July to respond to the CFTC complaint officially. In addition to the joint motion planned by Binance and its founder, they intend to file a separate motion to dismiss the CFTC lawsuit, according to the court document. Now we've seen a lot of FUD around Binance since this lawsuit began. It's not been a great time for them as a company. They've seen a huge amount of outflows in terms of client funds. They've seen market makers leave the platform in Australia. They've seen that in the US as well, I believe, and they've seen huge discrepancies in the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum and other altcoins on Binance US compared to their competitors in the region because of the amount of outflows and because of the lack of market makers there. So it's not been a great time. They've also seen a huge amount of FUD being spread on cryptocurrency Twitter and on other social media platforms and in the media as well. So CZ has been tweeting the number 4 repeatedly, but it doesn't seem to be doing the job he wants it to do. We'll keep a close eye on that. But so far they are trying to dismiss this lawsuit and continue operation, but we'll keep a close eye on it. Before we continue with the next piece of news, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Thank you very much for tuning in with us. As always, we do these live streams every single weekday, so make sure to tune in every day if you don't already, and make sure to share the stream with your friends to help us with the algorithm as well. So what we have here is Ripple's XRP becomes most traded altcoin in 2023 after the landmark win. So Ripple won in court last week against the SEC to determine whether XRP is a security or not. Off the back of that, we saw XRP trading volume increase above Bitcoins for a period of time, and we are now seeing that XRP has become the most traded altcoin in 2023. Now, for those of you that bought XRP during that lawsuit, that 3 years that lawsuit has been going on, congratulations. The XRP army, the XRP community, is one of the strongest cryptocurrency communities that I have ever seen. Throughout that whole lawsuit, people are accumulating and accumulating, ready for the day to come where that lawsuit is complete and XRP came out on top. Now, that wasn't even certainly going to happen, but the army was strong and they were ready to fight for XRP, and they've actually seen the benefits from that. XRP absolutely soared last week when the courts ruled in favor of them. So what's happened is, in court, the court had to determine whether XRP is a security based on the 4 different transactions. They're saying the actual asset itself isn't a security, it's the transactions of the asset, so the XRP transactions. So in court, they determined that the sale of XRP on centralized exchanges to retail investors like you and me is not determined to be a security transaction. They said the same about when Ripple pay their employees through XRP and when the CEO Brad Garlinghouse pays people in XRP. That's not a security transaction. They've said that the actual sale of XRP tokens to institutional investors, however, could classify as a security transaction. But overall, 3 of the 4 scenarios were deemed to have XRP not as a security. So that was a massive win for XRP. Massive win for the XRP army, and we saw a massive increase in price there. In fact, we can pull it up here if we take a look at cryptosavingexpert.com, the best cryptocurrency website out there. Make sure to go to XRP in the market tab here. You can see we are currently trading at 68 cents there, but we were trading prior to this news down at 46. So we've seen a massive increase. In fact, the price went all the way up to 94 cents at one point. We obviously have had a little bit of a retrace following Bitcoin's move to the downside. The altcoins haven't been performing too well. But overall, it's been a really positive week for Ripple. And off the back of that, we've seen the trading volume absolutely explode there as well. Now, the SEC have said they are considering appeal the court's decision on this. But we have to remember, the lawsuit hasn't come to an end. It's only this court decision that has happened so far. So what they could do is they could appeal this one court decision in the middle of this lawsuit. But I believe that not everybody has the right to appeal mid-lawsuit. The other option is they wait for the whole lawsuit to come to an end. And if they lose, the SEC lose, then they have the right to appeal. So it could be ongoing here. Now, we did see a key lawyer in the XRP case say that if the SEC do choose to appeal this, it could be another 2 years of fighting in court before we get another decision on this case. This is really not what we want to see, and it also isn't necessarily what the SEC want to do. If the SEC choose to do that and they lose again, that's a massive problem there. So we will be keeping a close eye on that. Before we continue, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Good morning, Robert. Good morning, Raina. Thank you very much for tuning in, as always. Let's see what's going on here. So Vitalik Buterin reveals major issues with WorldCoin's system. So the creators of OpenAI have created WorldCoin, and there's some concerns around the tokenomics of this token. And Vitalik Buterin, the creator and co-founder of Ethereum, has spotted potential issues with privacy, accessibility, centralization, and security. So let's take a look at this article and see what he's had to say for himself. So now, first of all, the main net for WorldCoin and the native token officially launched this Monday, and its goal is to enable humans to prove their identity online. So the need for projects like WorldCoin stems from the growing advancements in AI and bots. According to Buterin, AI is going to create a lot of abundance and wealth for humanity, but also may kill very many people's jobs and make it almost impossible to tell who is human and who is not, essentially. So we can see here, however, Buterin has noted there are some issues associated with WorldCoin's construction. So he first pointed to privacy concerns, saying that at the very least, if someone else scans your iris, they can check it against the database to determine whether or not you have a World ID. And given the limited number of orbs available, Buterin also argues that World IDs would not be reliably accessible, at least until anyone in the world can easily get to one. And he further raised concerns regarding the centralization of the coin, in that the orb is a hardware device and there is no way to verify that it has constructed correctly and does not have any backdoors. So you can see some quotes from him here. You can see the concerns he has here. So if you are interested in WorldCoin and you are looking to invest in this token, make sure to check out these concerns here. I think it's really important to look at some counter arguments to projects before you make a decision, and there are always going to be counter arguments to every investment you are looking to make. It's not always this is a perfect coin to invest in. There are no problems at all. You have to be aware of some risks involved in your investments before you do so. So make sure to check out that article if you are looking into WorldCoin at all. Let's continue with the next article here. So we have Binance Japan to begin operations in August. So I just wanted to point out that people still want to invest in the Binance is continuing to grow. We have a special guest here, that Martini guy, on the show. Are you needing your office back soon?
No.
Okay, perfect. We're just going to analyze the price of Bitcoin if you would like to get involved in this.
I'll leave you to it. I just thought it'd be...
Okay.
Yeah. What's going on?
We are going to see what's happening here. We have seen a little bit of a bounce this morning on the smaller time frames, but we've come back into the current price range. A straight line since it dumped, really. Not much movement. Could be better.
Make it go up.
Make it go up. Please like today's stream and maybe the price of Bitcoin will increase, but it might not. We'll have a look at the price of Bitcoin now and see what else is going on here. Let me reset the chart here so we can see the price range. We are below that level of support that we did have. We had one up at $29,800 and we did break down below that, unfortunately. And when we did, we continued all the way down to $28,850. Not what anyone wanted to see. We did see a little bit of an increase this morning to $29,280, but really, if you zoom into the smaller time frames now, we just saw sideways action. Sideways action all of the way. Now, if we take a look at this, we have a new level of resistance on the half-hour chart, essentially. If we draw a line from this previous level of support and we pull this out, you can see this is currently on the smaller time frames at 29,200. We also do have a level of support here, though, that I would like to look at. So let me draw this across. We're looking at $29,040. We obviously have this one down at 28.8. What I would say at this point in time is we have those interest rate announcements tomorrow. So any smaller time frames, if you're looking at levels of support on the smaller time frames, the half-hour charts, the 15-minute charts, the 5-minute charts, when those interest rate announcements come out tomorrow, it's going to ignore all of those. There's no level of support and resistance at that point in time. They all just get deleted from the chart for the 15 minutes, half an hour after that interest rate announcement. So I would put it blank and start again. So it's going to be an interesting time tomorrow. We will be talking about that in a little bit more detail on tomorrow's stream. We'll talk about all the possibilities and the direction that Bitcoin may move into. If we see some changes in the interest rate there. And even if we don't, we are going to see that volatility. So make sure to stay tuned for that. That is all we really have for today's stream, though. So thank you very much for tuning in. As always, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button. And I will see you all back here tomorrow at around midday. So make sure to tune in then. Thank you.